Commas Music is asking if you have any advice for producers who have big label releases, but no booking agent yet.
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? When you say big label releases, like, are we talking the biggest? Are we talking Disciple? You know, like if you're not getting bookings, but you're on bigger labels, there's one of two things that's happening. One, your music's not resonating, or two, you're not on social media enough. You haven't got enough of a presence.
I'm glad you said that second one.
Yeah,
because the presence, to be honest, this is the era we're in. The presence is more important than the music. It just is. Branding is bigger. You know, Marshmello's written hits, absolute hits, but I guarantee he could have been a big brand without any hits. He's so good at branding. He could have just been a guy that doesn't release any music and he'll just be everywhere. He was that good at branding. So these days, branding is more important. So you need to be more of a presence on social media. Unless you're someone like Versa who just has a hit and it just works. You know,
but his brand is really dynamic too with the construction theme.
Yeah, but he has a theme and he has a whole thing. But if you watch, he's actually not that much on social media. So he's not getting away with it, but he's surviving quite well with just doing music and doing these shows and stuff. But you have to be a big brand presence, man. You have to network just by tweeting people and stuff, you know? So, yeah.
So yeah, unless you're Versa, then you have to have a huge social media presence.
I mean, even Alex needs to step up his game, but yeah, in general,
Yeah, no, I'm really glad you said that though, because there's a lot of artists that constantly ask us like, hey, like I have these label releases or I have this collab with this person. And then, you know, you go on their social media and they're hardly ever posting. So it's like,
I mean, it doesn't, this is one thing I don't think people realize is that listeners versus ticket buyers is very different. So you can have someone who sells pure tickets, but their numbers are low on Spotify. I generally actually don't have that many Spotify listeners. I have 92K, which obviously, you know, is good, but it's also terrible for my level. So I'm more of a ticket seller. So if you're doing the right moves, you're going to be selling tickets. That's the ultimate part of what you're doing, because we're never in a million years, unless you're selling 1 billion streams on Spotify, you're never going to make money off that crap. You're just not. So DJing and all that sort of stuff, and even things like syncs where you get tracks on like movies and stuff, but that's rare to happen. So it has to be from the DJing. So you have to be a bigger presence for the DJing to happen. So you could be like, I've got 16 releases on Subsidia, 14 releases on Disciple. You know, I've got a few DFMO, 1 NSD back in the day. It doesn't mean anything if you're quiet, if you're not in the limelight. You have to be in the limelight. And the only way to be in the limelight is to be physically in people's faces on social media. So,
yeah. 2 more points on that too, just before we move on. Number one, it's like, you got to clap for yourself first, right? You got to be your own biggest supporter. And, you know, we always tell the artists that we manage, like, the more excited you are about your project, the more excited we're going to get about your project too.
Yeah. I mean, the more excited you are, the less you'll have chance of things like writer's block, you know? And also, if you're excited, that drives you to want to do stuff like posting on Instagram constantly and doing stories and stuff. But if you start losing that edge, you'll stop doing the things that matter in music. So,
yeah, good point.